your business culture. Okay. So everybody in your company, including the C-level management people, yourself, including your staff, customers, vendors, they should all be able to feel your business culture. Okay. Not see it on a piece of paper. They should all be able to feel, okay, when they're working with your business, they should be able to feel it. Okay. And I go back to Disney, right? You go into Disneyland or Disney World and you can feel it, right? Mickey Mouse comes walking around, all the princesses come, the genie comes, and you just feel it. It's a culture of fun and love, positivity, right? Now, some of you guys may laugh because you may walk into your business and it's like, man, this is all, negativity, pessimistic, everybody's mad, everybody's angry, and that's the culture, right? So that is exactly what I'm talking about. And it's so important that you create this culture. As the owner of your company, you must be with your people so that they understand what type of culture it is that you're trying to have them live. Okay. Um, but even if you aren't able to physically be with your people, they need to feel like you are. Okay. They need to feel like you care. And I'll explain to you how you can do it in a smaller organization and then how you can do it in a bigger organization. Okay. Um, in the end, if you're in a smaller organization, especially in the beginning phase of things, you need to be there to ensure that the feelings that everybody is feeling, the culture, right? I talked to you about hiring one of the best general managers that I ever did, a woman that took ownership of everything, right, and really loved the company. And I treated her a certain way, right? I made sure that she was not just happy, but overly satisfied. That her expectations were more than met because in an organization, if you do that for your general manager, guess what they're going to turn around and do to the employees in the company? They're going to treat them the same way. Okay, maybe not as good as you treating them, but they'll treat them in a very similar way. Okay, if you do this right. Okay, so but in the end, you must start very early to define the culture of your business. Okay. Write it down. Okay. Do whatever you need to do to make sure that it is crystal clear. Um, you can Google it, right? And I think, let me try it right now. So you can Google, because I've read quite a few of these. Okay. And on slideshare.net, a lot of times you can find stuff that should be, right? This should be kind of proprietary secret information, some companies, but sometimes you can go here and you can find these big companies cultural statements and what it is, right? They have all these different aspects of their culture that they're doing, and you got to do something similar, maybe not as big, right? This is a huge company. They have 125 pages in their cultural statement about what they want to do, right? Values are what we value: high performance, freedom and responsibility, context not control, highly aligned, loosely coupled, pay top of the market, promotions and development. So they got all this stuff, right, to explain what their culture is. Okay. They know exactly what it is they want. We're a team, not a family. Very interesting. I remember reading about that. I know I actually listened to the owner of Netflix when she was explaining this, explaining that, hey guys, we're not a family. We're like a pro sports team. We're not a kids recreational team. Netflix leaders hire, develop, and cut smartly. So we have stars in every position. Okay. So this is how their culture is, right? Some of you guys may say, man, that's kind of, I don't want my culture to be like that. It's all up to you. Again, that's the beauty of being a business owner. You can decide whatever the heck you want your culture to be, right? As far as Netflix goes, this is what they decided. They were such a big organization that they said, no, we are going to treat ourselves like we're a pro sports team. Okay. As long as you're performing, you're here and we're going to take care of you. Once you start to decline, you're gone. And it's nothing personal. We're acting like a sports team, right? We're going to develop you. We're going to cut you, though, in a smart manner if you're not performing. Okay. So again, you can say that's harsh. You can say whatever you want, but just know that for you and your business, you can go and do whatever you want. That's the beauty of being a business owner. Okay. So Um, Back to this. So again, culture matters. It's not hard to find cultural statements of a lot of your competitors or other big companies online. Study them out so you know what it is that you're looking for and how clear you need to be in your culture. Okay. Um, if you think about it, building a business, for most people, they like building a business like they're building a family, right? Everybody loves each other, everybody's getting along. Um, but unfortunately, a lot of business owners, because they don't have their culture set and they don't know what they're doing, they often treat their employees, in ways that they would never treat their family members, right? They would say things to their employees that they would never say to their family members. So it's not even a real family environment, right? So understand that with a culture statement and with a culture being very clear, you treat your employees with respect so they can maintain, dignity and respect to everybody around them. Because again, if you're treated a certain way, or if you treat your employees a certain way, they're going to turn around and treat your customers a certain way, and it's going to show in reviews. Okay. Um, Again, it's a lot easier to get this right in the beginning than trying to wait to do it afterwards when you're trying to do damage control when something goes wrong in your business. Okay. So I once had an employee, that stole like tens of thousands of dollars, and I had this happen multiple times, that I shared, and I operated with some other partners, right? So I made a plan on how I'd handle the issue. I knew I had to fire this person, okay, but I also wanted to make sure that they were okay, and that for whatever reason that they stole, I wanted to understand it so that I could make sure that it never happens again, or that, I wanted to take my part in what had happened so that I could say, hey, you know, I shouldn't have put them in that position. Again, hear me out. I shouldn't have put them in a position where they were tempted enough to be able to do it. And I shouldn't have had a situation where they could figure out a way to steal money, right? So those are things that on my side as the owner of the company, I can do better, right? So that's my attitude in going into this, and I wanted to make sure that this person was okay. Um, and in all honesty, my plan in firing this person was I was going to fire them, right? And also cut them a check for whatever they needed to take care of their family. Again, that's just me. That's how I wanted to do it, you know. Um, Unfortunately, when I went back into the scenario, and we studied everything out, I went and met with this person. Um, they ended up stealing a heck of a lot more than we had thought initially, So it ended up being closer to a felony. And at that point, I had a fiduciary responsibility to my investors and to my team, right, to go ahead and let this person go, you know. And I also had to make sure I had that responsibility to make sure that our culture stayed intact and that everybody understood that although we are a family, if something like this happens, you will get it will get handled to the fullest extent of the law if that's what it takes, if that's how big, the infraction was. So I had to make sure that everybody knew what happened, you know, down to the point where I actually went and we had to talk to the company and say, hey guys, employees, general managers, this is what happened. This is how it happened, right? This is how the money was stolen. This is exactly what they did. And let me tell you, it will never happen again. Okay. And over time, you're going to start to find different ways that people are doing things. And they're great because when mistakes happen, you can learn how to avoid it. And then you can stop it at every other location that you have to make sure that, it never happens again. What that also shows everybody in the organization is, hey guys, people make mistakes. We don't want you to make mistakes, especially ones as big as this that are going to affect your family. So please, please, please don't do it. And just know that if you do it, this is what's going to happen. Okay. And that makes it so that your organization, they all understand culture in the best and worst senses of the word. Okay. Um, it is vital that every member of your business understands the consequences of actions that negatively affect the company. When employees and management regulate your business so well that the issues are taken care of before they get too big, then you know that your culture is intact. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times when I build these businesses and hire 40, 50 employees or whatnot, I know culture is intact when the employees are the ones that let go of people. When somebody comes into the fold, right? It's like having, you have your family over here. somebody else comes in and they start doing some shady stuff, and everybody says, no, this is our culture. We're not going to allow this to happen. General manager, this is what's happening. And then the general manager knows, hey, whoever this new person is, you either got to ship up, or shape up or ship out. Okay. You can't be this way in here. It just doesn't feel right. You don't fit the culture. And if you don't, you're going to have to go. Okay. When that's happening internally, then you know that your culture is intact and it's exactly where you need it to be, because they are already funneling people out. The attrition rate that I have at a lot of my recreation parks is crazy good, right? So a lot of times, I went to one of my parks after 2 years. I walk in and they've only lost 3 people. And one was because they got married and had to leave. One went to school, and another one was had to go to school as well. Everybody else that we initially hired at that location was still there after 2 years. Okay. That is the product of amazing culture. Okay. So the other thing too is I normally always give all the employees, no matter what level they are, the opportunity to submit anonymously a complaint, a concern, anything that's going on in the company. And I make sure before we even hire them that they understand that we want that information. We want them to have an open door policy where they can, where they can reach corporate whenever they want, right? And obviously that kind of information we'll share with the general manager as well, so that they understand what it is that's going on. We'd never want to single people out, but we want to make sure that if something's going on, that people can anonymously submit something so that we can know what it is. And if we're hearing these things, over and over again, then we know that we can make a change before it becomes a big problem. Okay. Providing another part of culture too is we like to provide opportunities for continuing education, to allow these people to be able to train, so that they're motivated to innovate, and to move up in the ranks so that they become assistant manager, general manager as well in other locations or whatever it is. Okay. Another important thing. Okay. Let's see. And I'll just ongoing training. Okay. Another important thing is to make sure that work-life balance is there. And again, if you treat your general managers this way, they will treat everybody else in a fair manner as well. If they can give them time off, great. If they know something's going on with their family, they're going to let them take that time. Okay. Try to be aware of everybody's, home life needs. And again, a lot of times for you as the owner of the company, you can only do this for the higher level executives or for your general managers. And you take care of them because you want to show them this is how you want to take care of everybody else. Especially these upper level management people, make sure that you understand what's going on in their life. If they had a loved one just pass away, you need to be sensitive to that. Give them some time to go, be proactive. Don't hear about that and say, oh, I'll just wait for them to call me, and ask for time off. No, call them. Say, hey, I heard what happened. I need you to take time off. Okay. I need you to take some time off. Go spend time with your family, because I want to make sure that general manager or my upper level management, they understand that is the culture of what we're doing. We take care of people. Okay. And when management is treated that way, they'll pass it on to their teams. Okay. The more out of the ordinary things you can do to bless the lives of the people that you work with, the more loyalty they'll give you in return. Okay. So out of the norm perks. Okay. Like this, let me give you an example. So I have one general manager that loves parkour. Okay. So they love, like, I don't understand it, but it doesn't matter because my manager loves it. He loves to run outside with his friends and they go jump and do tricks, parkour. The only thing I know about parkour is, I watched that episode on The Office when they're jumping around the office. And that's amazing for them, right? But me as an owner of the company, I need to know that that's something that they enjoy, so that when the time comes and I'm like, you know what, this person has been doing a great job, I need to do something for them. Okay. Giving them a gift card isn't doing something for them. Okay. There's there's like no thought put into that. Give them a gift card and let them go spend money, or give them cash, even worse. But if you're an owner of a company and you've thought it out, and this person loves parkour, and you want to give them, some kind of bonus, on top of their cash bonus, you want to do something for them just to let them know that you appreciate them, and you find this like parkour, get together summit, maybe in a state over, right? Send them, buy them a plane ticket, send them to that little summit thing, 2-3 day, whatever, and tell them, hey, I really appreciate what you're doing. Your assistant manager has everything. Let them manage it. I'm going to send you to this thing. You go have fun. Okay. Again, gift card, parkour summit. What do you think in their mind is going to tell them, man, this person really cares about me, or the owner of my company really knows me, right? They really care for me. Out of the norm perks, right? That are specific to your people. And again, you cannot do this if you don't spend time with your people. You have to spend time with them. You have to know what it is that makes them tick. Okay. Because if you do those things for them, when it comes time in that business and something goes wrong, right? Or let's say that they just finished their 8-hour shift and all of a sudden something happens, and it's in their best interest to want to stay as the general manager, but they don't want to stay, right? In those types of situations, they're going to remember those things and say, man, Mo didn't have to do that, or corporate, they didn't have to do that for me, but they did. And because of that, I am going to stay after. I'm going to stay after. I'm going to take care of them because I want to show them in return that I appreciate them and everything that they do for me. Okay. Again, and again, don't attribute this to, again, these aren't like special tactics, right? That I'm trying to tit for tat, trying to give something and get something back in return every single time. No, I'm just trying to deposit into my relationship with my general managers so that when I do need them, right? Or that they can make a decision for themselves, that when they know it'd be best if they stayed or did something after hours or whatnot, they're just going to do it on their own dime. They're going to do it on their own, not dime, their own, they're going to make their own decision to do that because they appreciate the work and they love the culture. They love how they're being treated. And in turn, they're going to be loyal and treat the company in a great way and offer and sacrifice time to do something. Okay. This is the type of culture that I try and create in every business that I start. Okay. My culture is about compassion, love, and make sure everybody is in a position that they can excel and that they feel very valued and that they can have a lot of wins because I put them somewhere where it fits the most, right? And they can have those wins all the time and not feel like they're not valuable to the organization because they can't perform, right? So, and again, you got to find out what it is that matters to them. And I have another story about Howard Schultz. Okay, so Howard Schultz, he is the CEO of Starbucks. Okay, and let me tell you, I want to show you a picture because again, guys, if you guys can't tell, I study a lot of other businesses. I make sure that I'm especially ones that I know are doing really well, and there's a lot of them out there, guys. But this Howard Schultz guy, I've learned a lot from him, and I've read his story. I've read the Starbucks story, and he's running a $84 billion business. Okay, but let's talk a little bit about Howard Schultz and why they do so well. I remember reading a story about, no, actually it wasn't a story. He was talking about this on a podcast, and he talked about how when Starbucks opened up shop in China, that they kind of struggled. They had a hard time mixing in with the Chinese culture, and a lot of it had to do with you had a lot of Americans trying to run an American business in China. And that's how the Chinese felt too when they saw it come in, and there's like, oh, it's a American company serving, American coffee, and that's about it, right? So the best thing that they did, they ended up hiring a local Chinese woman to help run their relations, to help run everybody. And she became I believe she became the CEO of Starbucks China. Okay. And what happened is they ended up having a board meeting, and they're sitting there talking about, man, how can we improve things here in China? We're trying new products, we're trying to do this and that, um, and they just couldn't get it. Then all of a sudden, this woman comes out and says, "Hey, you know what? Let me share with you and help you understand Chinese culture. Chinese culture has a lot to do with family, you know, and parents and grandparents. A lot of times, Chinese don't have that many kids. So when they do have kids, the parents are very, very close and want to know everything that's going on with their children. Same with the grandparents because they don't have that many, right? In America, you can have 5, 10, 20 kids if you want. In China, a lot of places you're not allowed to have that many. So when you do have them, they want to be around them all the time and know exactly what's going on. So what they did is she came out and said, "Hey, I understand Chinese culture, and parents are so important that what I want to do is do a big annual parent meeting." Okay, and to the folks in the United States, they're like, "Oh, that's kind of weird. What does that mean?" And she said, "I want to do a parent meeting where they bring all the parents, right? When you have a big work party, and normally you bring your spouse or whatever." They found that a lot of these people that worked at Starbucks, they were younger, maybe they're in their teens, early 20s or whatnot, and still their parents are very much a part of their life. So they put together these big parent meetings, and they would have all the employees come, and all the parents, grandparents, uncles, they all came to this big meeting as well, and it was great. And Howard Schultz looks at everybody and he says, "You know what? Like this is it. This is Chinese culture. It's different here. And um, we have to be sensitive to that. So he gets up in front of everybody and talks, and all he talks about is their children. They didn't even have to talk about coffee or any of that kind of stuff. He wanted the parents to know in that meeting, when they had these meetings, and they continue to do these meetings, um, they told the parents that, "Hey, we're in the business of your children. Okay, we want to give them as much as we can to help them advance in their career with us here in Starbucks, and then afterwards, go and do some great things. And so this meeting that we're having is to celebrate your children and their accomplishments and everything that they're doing. We want you to be a part of this as well and understand what it is that they do, the mission of our company, and why we appreciate your children." Right? So they have these meetings, right? Parents come, everybody's there, and all of a sudden, right, their production and everything just starts going, amazing, because now, right, the culture is such that they all feel very appreciated, starting from the parents, grandparents, all the way down to their employees. And that's what's important in that country. So again, he talked about how culture is just, it's a lot bigger than you even think it is. It's way bigger than most companies believe it is, and it affects everything, including the bottom line, if you do not understand culture. Okay, and because of that, you have to provide something similar, guys. So if you're not sure what your culture or mission should be in your business, model it after companies similar to Starbucks. There are a lot of companies out there that I've modeled a lot of things after. Chick-fil-A, right? They are amazing at service, and you hear it everywhere. They have viral videos everywhere of Chick-fil-A people running all over, sprinting to get people their food on time. If you go to Chick-fil-A, they never say thank you. They say my pleasure. Little things that they do, right? That they help people have an out of the norm experience, right? So that they keep coming back to their business, right? Chick-fil-A, Zappos, USAA, a lot of these companies that are rated top in customer service, you would do well to go ahead and study these people out. And just like in any other aspect of the business, if you want to be the best, you have to model after the best. Best attorneys, best CPAs, best mission statements, best culture setups. You want to have all of that. So you should research all of their hiring methods, their bonus plans, their salary increases, compensation plans, commission structures, benefits, facility amenities, customer appreciation methods and parties, employee recognition plans. And again, guys, you'd be surprised. A lot of this stuff is free on Google. You just Google it. I remember looking for a compensation bonus plan, and I Googled it and I found it. You can find all this stuff online. and it's just going to help in your business. But in the end, guys, in conclusion, all I'm going to say is this: model after the best of the best. In the end, if you want to have happy, satisfied employees, make sure that you take care of them in every aspect of their job. Okay. And that also includes their personal life after they leave. Because no matter what you think, in their mind, that business is a huge part of them. Okay. Normally it's their main source of income. It's where they spend most of their time at. So you have to make it something that they're very proud of and something that they can really thoroughly enjoy. And even more importantly, they need to know that they're valued and that they're important to you, the owner of the company, from the top to the bottom. Okay. And the only way you do that is if you have a very clear culture plan on how to make them feel that way. Okay. And know your people, be with them, and they'll in turn be loyal to you and treat everybody with respect, especially your customers. Okay, guys? So that is culture. Take it serious because it is very, 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 very serious. There are a lot of companies out there that have terrible cultures that make money and then disappear. Okay. So make sure that you're not one of those companies. Make sure that you care about your people and that you provide an environment that they can't get anywhere else, and then they will stay. Okay. All right, guys. Let's move on to the next. Hope you enjoyed that section.